Hello,
We're
everyone.
live. Hi, everyone, guys.
Hello, everyone. Yeah,
Here we are.
we are happy to welcome everyone here at our community call, SM Classic Community Call. While we are waiting for the people to join, just write in the comments where you're joining from.
Let's chat a little bit.
Yeah, let's see.
Where is our
Sergey?
guest?
Yeah, he's here. We're like, oh, we lost you.
No, that's okay.
So today for our community call, we will be
Diego.
your hosts,
Hi, Diego.
Anna Pulkina, Francesco Comito, and Antonia Comito. And
Hi, guys.
our guest today is a concert pianist, Sergey Belyavsky, and I'm going to take a moment to read a little bit from his bio to introduce him properly. So Sergey is he was born in Moscow in a family of musicians, and he went to the Central Music School at the Moscow State Conservatory. Then he was winning many competitions, like around more than 30. The most recent one, he won the second prize and the audience prize at the 76th competition in Geneva in Switzerland. Then he's also a third prize winner at the Gina Bahar International Artist Competition in Salt Lake City. Then he also won a prize at the Maria Canals competition. So there are like many prizes. In addition to that, Sergey released 3 CDs by now, and the most recent was with the Chopin 24 Etudes. And so his teachers were Professor Eliso Versaladze in the Moscow Conservatory, Professor Arya Vardi in Tel Aviv, and then Professor Lev Natochny in Kaleidos Music School in Switzerland. And finally, currently Sergey is studying at the Park University in Kansas City, Missouri, with Professor Stanislav Yudenich. Sergey played with many orchestras. Just to name a few, is Utah Symphony Orchestra, Czech National Symphony Orchestra, Orchestre de la Suisse Romande in Switzerland, Budapest Symphony Orchestra of the Hungarian Radio, and many more. So let's welcome our guest, Sergey. Round of applause for you. So tell us a little bit where you are joining us from.
I'm joining you from, as you said, Kansas City. I'm from the United States.
Yeah, okay. So we wanted to little bit to chat a little bit with you. We wanted to start from let's start from not from the beginning but from the end. So I mean I heard your name like last few years for several times, but then I just ran into the interview that you gave to the Classic News, and I was actually very surprised by the way how you answered the question and about your thoughts about the recent the current situation in the classical music industry, and in general, your thoughts about what classical artists should do, or how, like, what are the possibilities or ways for a classical musician to develop the career or to survive in the market. Let's put it this way. So let's start a little bit from you won the prize, the second prize in Switzerland, and then you now are going to, or you are already in a massive concert tour, right? So what do you think about the engagement between the artist and the audience? Like how, because I read in the interview that you think a little bit different from the majority of the artists that I know. So can you talk a little bit about that aspect?
Well, I don't know what majority of artists think. Engagement, you mean in terms of myself and public
Yes.
anywhere, or
Yeah.
is it connected to any competition? I
No,
don't know.
no, no, no. During the concert, like during your
Okay,
performance.
right. So what at least I was talking in that interview was that I believe that just playing the instrument nowadays is not just enough, and then that the classical way of having a performance is you go on stage, you bow, you play, you get applause, and then you bow and go back, which is fine, but it brings some kind of a invisible sort of projectile or a wall between the public and the performer. And I believe that this has to be like dealt with because it's not a good thing. The problem nowadays, as I see, is that I am concerned about the future of classical industry in general. Is like who will be coming to concert halls? That's what every artist has to ask themselves. Every manager has to ask themselves, because like who will come? So who will be buying tickets? Who will be buying CDs? Who will be doing anything? There will be people, but still, I can. I didn't make any statistics, but I can say that a lot of people I see in concert halls these days are like elderly people. Okay, then the point is that I mean, unfortunately, everybody will eventually pass away, and then what will we have? Will we have the next generation of people who will, a next generation of public who will be coming to the concert hall? That's the question. So I think that classical music has to face now is to the competition between classical music and pop music, including something that I'm generalizing pop music, everything except classical, meaning rap, rock, the literal pop music, popular music, and stuff like that. The point is that these people, a lot of people, they don't know of classical music. They don't know of, let's say, how interesting, how amazing it can be. But it seems for them, for many people, that it is too much of a thinking process. They want to have fun. They got used to have fun while just listening to some beats, like literal beats of rap music, and that music is fine. It's like I'm not against it. It's just it's built on a very basic things such as a heartbeat. That's why people go to the nightclubs, because the beat starts slowly, goes faster. So goes the heartbeat of the person who is engaged in that. While the classical music is much more complex, and I think that is that's my approach. That I believe that every classical musician has to consider nowadays, to not just come and to seem very sophisticated and smart and just play the music and then go away, while people probably don't understand what's going on. Like they have to have the knowledge of it, but if they haven't been in concert hall ever, they have never been there, why would they? What would bring their attention? That's why I say that some people have to be interested and engaged prior to just coming, or when they are already, they ended up, like their friends brought them to the concert hall and say they said to them, okay, this is fun, that's going to be fun, but it won't be fun for them unless you will explain them something. And for that reason, people have created program notes. People have created musicology and musicologists who write program notes, or people who announce the programs, and not just announce, but they talk a little bit about it. but it's all great. Question is, what is the? I was talking about the breaking the wall between the public and the performer. I believe that people want nowadays to have the source of the information. Source of the information is the performer who is about to go on stage and to play. So it doesn't have to be like a theoretical lecture, from a musicologist. Instead, it can be very interesting for people to see what this person thinks himself of the or herself thinks of the pieces, works that this person is about to perform. That's
Sergey, one question for you. Don't you think that maybe the concert hall per se can be considered today in the modern era a little bit old-fashioned?
Sure, but the thing is, I am both concerned and both not concerned about the future of this profession. I'll explain. I'm concerned about the amount of people who will come, but at the same time, we live in a digital age where a lot of professions will be replaced by artificial intelligence of some kind. Meanwhile, yeah, you can put easily put a musical work and it to be played by artificial intelligence. The thing is, it will never be as exciting, as interesting as like human being performing ever. That's why it will not be replaced. On the question of concert hall, yeah, it is like probably old-fashioned, but yeah.
I think that maybe young generation can be interested in classical music. The problem is that I read a very deep and interesting study made from the Torino University. In this study, they said that next generations like Gen Z and millennials, they are really interested in classical music. The problem is that they found the mainstream, let's say, let's put in this word, the mainstream tempo, the concert hall. They found it old-fashioned. They feel uncomfortable in this kind of location. And this model of fruition is not the same model of fruition that they normally used to be in contact with the music.
Yeah.
Right.
Yesterday, Sergey, for example, I've been with Anna to attend a concert in the Dallas Symphony, and the people attending the concert were not all kids. They were all of them with white hairs. And the thing is that I was talking with some musician friend, our friend, and I asked them this question. But just a second, do you realize the danger that we are in? Yes, I see it, but there are also some kids, there are also some young people. Okay, that's true, but just for a second, remove from the concert all the people of a certain age, the older people, and see what do you have at the end. The question is, do you think that in the future this is going to be a sustainable business? I mean, classical music? No. How can you make money with ticket sales? No. You need sponsors. Yes, but what if the sponsor will see that they don't receive anything in return? Sponsor, they pay because they want publicity. They want to make publicity for their product to some audience. But what if nobody goes to that place and you cannot sell your publicity? I mean, to the sponsor. I'm talking about the concert venue. So you see that it's going to be a disaster, a massive crash in a few years.
But you also have to consider that those sponsors that are supporting such orchestras as the Dallas Symphony Orchestra, majority of them, they give those like enormous amount of money, not because they want to make
For
a publicity. Exactly.
Yes, for tax, but you understand
they
that
don't really care whether you sell tickets or not.
no, that's true. The tax advantages, that's true. But the thing is that we are gonna have empty concert hall. And what you were saying, Sergey, before about the AI, it's true. For now, the AI is not cannot replace human beings, but it's getting closer and closer. The thing is that we are just at the beginning, and if you see now, the first thing that we thought that is untouchable, like art, is the first thing that AI is working on. In fact, you can see music composed by AI, paintings created by AI. This is the first thing that they are attacking. And so we are just at the beginning, and it is pretty impressive, the work that the AI is doing. But at the same time,
you know, personally, I think that also if AI could not replace human beings as artists, the problem is that I think there is, in my opinion, a future in which human beings as artists can collaborate with AI. The problem is that human beings, the artists of today, are not so tech savvy, aware of it, and they don't have this kind of knowledge that can allow them to use and to leverage this kind of tools, to leverage AI. They don't know about technology. They don't know about, they cannot use a basic software for video editing. How can we imagine they can leverage AI, This is the real problem. It's not a problem. I think it's a great opportunity for expansion, for growth, You have to go out of your comfort zone and understand how these new softwares work, how you can benefit from it, how you can leverage it. This is the problem. How can we imagine a future of collaboration with AI if we cannot use it? If we don't know how it works?
Antonia, I would like also to add something to what Sergey was saying before. You say the AI cannot replace the human art. That's true, but let's think about one thing. How many Picassos exist? One. How many Van Gogh? One. But do you know anything about that good enough economy? Nowadays, in the world, on media, we have a kind of enough economy. It means that it's enough, so it's consumable. It's correct in English. People can consume this content, so it's enough. We can produce it in a massive amount of. We can produce a massive amount of content that people can easily consume. And so, what is better than AI? So the level of art is gonna little by little going decrease, going down, and the technology is increasing. So do you see that is a kind of disaster that is going to happen? What do you think about Sergey?
Okay, I'm not the kind of person who is like threatened by a world coming to an end or a disaster. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I probably you didn't mean it. I think that anything that like any kind of thing, is it art or industry, which dies, creates something else. So as that's a normal thing. Some things are dying, some things are being created. On the point, actually, on a certain point of, you said before about digital era, okay, AI, concert hall. I think pandemic has shown the problem in classical music industry. In my opinion, why am I talking about it? A lot of people were sitting in their homes and like not doing anything. So as musicians, and the problem is that the musicians, they technically cannot really work from home, like performers. I mean, except doing live streams. What's the disadvantage of live stream is that the people, I'm talking about monetizing that. People were not used to it, because why would they why would they buy tickets for streaming concerts, since before the pandemic it used to be for free, most of it, except for like maybe she was charging a little bit for a subscription of streaming of the greatest, the best concerts which were happening. Okay, maybe some competitions or some festivals were charging a little bit, but literally to sell like a digital tickets to classical music concerts, it was not a thing. Some people tried. Most of them failed because some people started doing home concerts, mostly for free, and I was like, but some of them were hoping for donations, not
Yeah.
hoping. This was funny because I even saw a friend of mine going nuts on Facebook, saying that basically he tried to make concerts at home, hoping for donations, but doing it for free. But then he realized that nobody is really paying attention and paying money. So he said like something along the lines that new motto, basically no donations, no home concerts. I was like laughing a lot about it. But okay, but seriously, how can you theoretically monetize the digital concerts? The problem is that it is not interactive. Live streaming is not interactive.
What about
Pe-
copyright? What
right?
about copyright box?
People tried Zoom. Zoom is bad. Like the software is created for conferences, not for music. Even you can like tweak some settings. It's not great at all. Okay, so theoretically, what we need to have is a perfect quality of microphones, really great speed of internet on both sides. I'm trying to make it to monetize. Like you have to have a greatest quality in order to monetize it, because it would be a replacement for a real concert. So a great internet speed, which not everybody has still, great microphones, which will be able to project whatever the person tries to actually have. The other thing would be probably would come in the future with artificial intelligence, like glasses, like the which would probably allow the people in public to like have some kind of a background, whatever they want, for this person to like to have it tweaked as they want to, right? Or to have it as real as it could be in reality, but
Do
not
you
in reality.
mean virtual reality?
Yeah, virtual reality
Virtual
basically. But
reality or
for
augmented
all of
reality?
this,
Yeah.
for all of this, you need a perfect connection of the internet.
Yeah,
So there
exactly.
would not be any buffering on any side, and that it would be also like interactive between, like the people would literally sit at their rooms and probably clap, and then the person would be able to sort of I don't know, somehow see that or hear that, and then it would be an interaction point. It's either a question and answer session or something like that. Are we any close to that? Nope. The technology has not developed yet.
There are many solutions, technology that can offer. For example, now I'm working on holographic interactive performance, and these holograms can be really a great solution because they can be pre-recorded, and you don't need this kind of high level of connections. The
Wait,
problem is that it's not
I'm sorry, pre-recorded doesn't work. That's the problem. You see, people can go on YouTube, find any recording of the best people, of the best masters of any kind of time, like from 20th century, their favorites. And why would they go for live streaming instead?
I'm saying to you, because this is a business model with a unique value proposition. You are adding value because you are creating an interactive holographic performance. It's something new. It's not just
So
a
you basically
pre-recorded
will be
video.
playing live, but then it will be like with added value of the holographic,
I think we can use these new technologies, such as immersive technologies or holographic technologies, to create experiences that can be engaging for the audience. You are adding value because you are creating a hyper-stimulating experience for the audience. It's not just a passive absorption of content. It's not
You
just
go
passive content
down, play, and
consumption.
arrivederci.
Right. I agree. Question is, does it replace the usual concert hall? Nope.
Do you think so?
Not yet.
Not
Right
yet.
until it will become literally interactive, and right until everybody will be able to attend the concert, which will be live. It will be streamed via either virtual reality glasses or hologram, whatever it is. Right until then, it will be theoretically a replacement, and then people would have a choice.
But
to
one
either
second,
go-
when you are saying can replace, do you mean mass adoption? Or
I mean, no. I literally mean that some people probably would prefer to spend an evening, let's say, in their apartment or house, but to be able to have the access to the art. And instead of going to the concert hall, they would sit at their house, but to see and to spectate, basically to watch, either way, it would be live, but it would be hologram, like a live stream, or again, virtual reality glasses in their place. And they would have a choice. They could go to live performance, or they could do this. We don't have this choice yet. It would not be the same quality of experience for people who care about it. There are people who care about it, as it would be in a concert hall. Meanwhile, also, by the way, the audio, I'm sorry, they recorded, even the best studio recordings, they don't have this kind of atmosphere. Like, of course, it's a mythical word of atmosphere, but this is what makes it special. In order to create it, you will have to have a really good sound solutions as well. Not just Dolby Digital, whatever, 7.1 and stuff like that. Something more, which is not developed yet. I mean, it's on its way, I would say.
But
Maybe in
Sergey,
10
you're
years.
right.
I'm talking
You're
about
right.
now. I'm talking about now.
Sergey, you're absolutely right. You say that it's not yet developed this technology, but they are working on big companies. They can do everything. I mean, big companies, if you have a team, you have money, you have investment, you can. They are trying to send people to Mars. So, do we think that creating some, some
hyper-realistic
sound can be a problem? Of course not. They are working on. The question is, are we prepared as musicians to face the future that is on the door knocking? Are we prepared?
I mean, it's a competitive world. It's a competitive market. Those who are not prepared and those who will not really realize that there will be a change, but there will be a change of some kind. And those who will not be able to, those who will not be able to adapt, they will not be able to work for that. So therefore,
on this point, I would like to ask you a specific question. Are you pro the contamination of classical music field, of the classical music field? I mean, for example, are you in favor of hybridization, for example, of classical music with the world of gamification? For example, using the huge mega trend that is the video game field to a vector for classical music.
And for young generation.
To reach younger generations, Gen Z, Gen X, etc.
the question here is like how can it be possible? Because
Are you in favor?
I have
Are you
well
agree about hybridizing classical music with different fields, such as video
No,
games, or
no
In
no no
general,
I
would you accept the possibility? You think that it's some kind of sacrilegious thing that cannot be done, or you are in favor of, of this?
that's no, I don't think it's something religious. I think that the art has been the art of the classical music has been changed many times, and it will change. So it actually, like, I'm definitely not against it. I am pro it, but it doesn't, like, my point is, it doesn't matter. Am I against or am I not against, or whoever like opinion it is? It's literally the question of the law of the market. If it will be popular, if it will be popular in terms of that people would pay money for it, it will change. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Whether you want it or not, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we have one question from our guest here.
Our poor Alex is
Yeah.
waiting 3 hours for the question.
So, in your opinion, what are some of the most important factors for success in the music industry for classical musicians? So, what
Good
do you
question,
think? What
yes.
are the most important factors?
Work, hard work, and not just on, like, as a performer. I mean, not just as your quality of your content, if you can call it, but also social work, which is like the second part of the same profession. Basically, you read that interview. I said that you have to treat yourself as a small company, which I think
Yes,
is
yes, I liked
yeah.
it. I immediately, that was the title of the article, so I was like, "Oh, interesting!" And so I went to read it. Yeah.
And then some kind of, like, maybe 5% of luck out of 100, not more. But this 5% can add a lot in terms of, like, which, like, level you will be. Luck in terms of, like, just you know probably meeting new people who will have real influence on you. It's either career wise or musicianship wise. It's very important because they can provide a lot for you. And I would say to keep some kind of like the psychologists, they call it inner child. I'm not strong in this kind of terms, but some kind of interest in life, in terms of that you don't get too much of when you have too much of experience means that you are experienced, means that you had many experiences, right? That's like I'm specifically trying to emphasize this word. The point is that despite all that, you have to be opened for new meetings, new, again, experiences, new impressions, and everything new in your life, so that you don't end up being like some kind of skeptic, misanthrope person that doesn't like anything which goes on, and just saying that everything's going down, the world is going to end tomorrow or in a week or something like that. Yeah,
You
I
know,
think this
when
is
there
wrong.
is a crash, there is also a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
So that's the moment where you have to act and go out and present yourself.
I particularly like the phrase you said in the interview. You said, "Well, there are some people who cannot really like answer the email like on time, or or reply on or pick up the phone, or do the kind of communication that is necessary. When somebody is writing you an email, there are some people who answer like a week from that day or 2 weeks." It's just like because they don't feel like it.
There is a similar sentence. Is a quote by Kanye West, I think. He said, "Artists need CEOs, not managers." It's like
Yeah, true.
considering artists as a little company, as you said.
Yeah. I can only add to that I know of some people, like I literally said that phrase about email. That was sort of hidden, like we call it in a video, like in a video games or in a films, they call it Easter eggs. I call it here a hidden message to one of my friends who loves to make fun that not replying to emails is fun, basically. That this is something that is, or not doing it on time. I was like making fun of that. I can say that this, of course, can, like, if you're really bad at it, and if you really don't care, you will lose a lot of opportunities. Although I know of some people who are not very precise. I mean, I am not ideal myself. It's just if you are not very precise, it doesn't mean that you will not have any kind of opportunities or any career or anything. Like, it's just it depends. Sometimes some people don't, if they don't reply to you, even like some people don't reply to me, it's either like you have to understand if it's has to do with their free spare time, or maybe they are not very interested in like dealing with you, which can also be true, which is fine. It's just like and that's, I think this is also some kind of illness of the 21st century. Illness in terms of like, it's not an illness, it's just a new thing, but some people can call it illness. We have instant messages everywhere. Meanwhile, let's say 100 years ago, people were writing letters and sending them with a post and waiting for maybe a month or several to get a response.
Exactly.
This is crazy.
On this point, I found very curious that many musicians find professional interaction, I mean, like a sort of stress factor. And because it's a stress factor, they postpone it. And this kind of not organization in the workflow or not organization in the communication structure is just hitting bad stress management, because you cannot deal with it, and then
I need somebody else to take care of. I mean, they can work on it. They can manage my. I need only to practice. I practice every day. This is my job. I find somebody else. But the problem is that somebody else. I'm talking about managers, etc. If you don't have this quality of speaking, communicating, present yourself. If you don't have a community, they will not spend their time and their work to make your career.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone cannot deal with like the stress of communication, as you said, my question is, can they deal with the stress of going on stage?
Exactly.
If it's the case that they cannot deal with any stress, then I'm sorry, maybe the performing artist career is not for them, which is fine. It's not for everybody, and should be, has never been. It's just maybe they have to teach people. Actually, on this point, I can also mention that I recently I've done several masterclasses. I'm not like involved a lot in teaching people at all. I don't have like I don't do that a lot. I found it extremely exhausting and hard if you want to do it properly. And I think that this is a very important part, and a lot of people have to consider to even support, like if people want to support the future of classical music, one way to do it is to support the teaching, like universities or just private people, because even if all of the students that they will not make a career in music, they will be involved in that still. They will be
The audience.
exposed to the classical music, which is very
Exactly.
important. And
Of course,
yeah, the
to the
best
pianist,
audience you
sorry.
can theoretically have now is people who have some time in the past they have like they studied playing piano, then they stopped, and then they have some nostalgic feelings about it, even though
Yeah.
they made their great careers as, like, say, let's say lawyers. They have
Mhm.
money, but now they want to actually to come and to listen, and that's the best public. They
Yeah.
have money,
Exactly.
they can pay, they appreciate, and they really are, they keen to go to listen to it. So whom do we have to thank for it? People who were
Mhm.
teaching
Exactly.
them, right? So
Mhm.
as more people we create like that, as more people are involved in just being exposed to classical music,
Mhm.
as more public we will have in the future. So for that
Exactly.
reason, teaching is super important.
But can I ask you two questions? The first question is, but why should the government actually support the creation of a new public of classical music? Why should they help schools? Why should they help teachers? Why should they help musicians? First question. And second question is about the stress, but the stress about learning new skills for a musician. For example, I was talking with a friend of mine yesterday. Say, I am afraid. I was doing the same thing of entire life for 30 years, and now I see a wall in front of me, and I have to learn from the beginning to do other things. And I replied to him and said, "But sorry, you play piano, you play the Wallstein sonata, you play something that's so crazy and so difficult. I mean, in terms of complexity of that your brain, the work that your brain has to do, that you are afraid of learning how to make video on the
Luma
Final
Fusion.
Cut or LumaFusion. So, what do you think about this psychological aspect?
It's like a psychological block, you know.
Right. Okay. For the second part, I can say this is partly the problem, in my opinion. It's partly a problem of the musical educational system. At least I'm talking about Moscow Conservatory in particular, but I'm also, I mean, I don't see it as much elsewhere. Maybe some places have it. Nobody has ever like taught me how to use all of that. I think this is much more useful these days than to have like thousands of lectures on particular music periods or history of music.
Or
Sometimes
repertoire, etc.
it's all important,
Mm-hmm.
but in case you have to choose, I would choose someone who would teach me how to use Premiere Pro or LumaFusion or whatever you want
Mm-hmm.
to use. One thing. Another thing. A year ago, it's been a really interesting moment. A friend of mine came from Salt Lake to Kansas to record. He is a guy who has cameras, and he's a fan of music, like music he plays himself. Anyway, he came with a lot of equipment and put it all, and everything was fine, except like he was recording me and another friend of mine who's also a pianist. We heard the outcome. We didn't like the audio quality. Why? Because it was like too dry, like too much
Mm-hmm.
of a. It had to have more like
Reverb.
vibrancy and reverb. Yeah, and the point is that I'm this kind of person who does not really enjoy the fact that I would add artificial reverb. I'm this kind
Mm-hmm.
of person. I mean, it's fine, you can do that to some extent, but
You prefer natural effects.
Yeah, no, like natural reverb that you catch. Like that's the point. When I was okay, how do I, like, he had several microphones. How do I put them in a concert hall? We had a good concert hall and the piano, everything. How do I put them? How do I mix them? And everything like that. I was never ever having this experience. Like nobody again was teaching me how to do that. So I was learning by doing it, like going on YouTube, for instance, looking for some guides, how to do that and that and that and that.
The best school YouTube.
On spot, on spots. I mean, I don't say that I know a lot, but I know more than I knew. People who are not willing to learn something new, it doesn't matter what kind of things, but like it's in every other profession. There is like people saying that statistically your profession changes every like 5 to 10 years at least. It changes the core of it, the structure of it. Some things they keep, some things are changed. You have to be able to
keep up.
Yeah, to keep up. Yeah, our profession, like, it is probably one of the most conservative in terms of like. It's still like we play the same instruments. Like, of course, the instruments used to be different, but nowadays, but still, like the profession changed a little bit. So you have to keep up with that. That's one thing. On the point of why the governments have to do that, I don't know. Like, actually, I don't think that governments have to do at all with it. I think that from the beginning of the history of music, it was not the government. It was never the government. And sometimes. I mean, it depends on what kind of political structure you have inside the government. Like in Soviet Union, there were no private money technically, so it was supported by the government. Okay, but from my perspective, we know of some names of some composers who used to be like the servants of some counts or barons or kurfürsts in Germany or in Western Europe, who were writing music for, I don't know, each Sunday, for instance. Bach had to present a new mass, or Liszt had to present some new piece to entertain wealthy people in Salon, like something like that.
Or Haydn was working 30 years for the Esterhazy family, right? And for every occasion he had to compose something. Yeah.
Exactly. So it technically wasn't supported by governments. It was supported, like, they were serving to some, like, it would be the wealthy people of now, like, and it would not be counted as serving, but they would want to be provided with some new music or new performances. And still, I think until these days, I think that the musical industry is still mostly supported by wealthy people who want to help somehow. It depends on what are the initial reasons, but it doesn't matter.
Can I ask you one thing?
Yeah.
Do you have an idea on how to turn this wheel, or how to disrupt this wheel? How to, because you said music was always supported by wealthy private people that can help.
Right.
Do you have now any ideas on how to change this paradigm? How to create a real business model that can
no, business model is fine. I'm what I mean is I don't think that, like, if by changing the wheel you mean to force the government to support it, I don't think it's necessary.
No, maybe you can create a business model that can really create profits and then attract investors, not sponsors, investors.
So that you can generate the revenue yourself.
And you can make other people
come to you
to make money.
So to collaborate with you, not that you are knocking the doors and asking, please support the project.
It's different. It's like a startup. It's like when you are is when you are creating a startup. You are
Well,
creating a bit.
I understand what you mean. The thing is that I think that some people actually already do that. By that I mean that they create some, for instance, some social media accounts which are becoming popular, and there you have the possibility for now, like you have to put the possibility in YouTube, in Instagram, maybe on Facebook as well, to like that people who like you are able to donate, and you can do like live stream concerts where people who want, they can do that. And like there are actually video bloggers or like in other industries who have all their income coming from the subscriptions that people are paying for and all of that. The point is that I don't think it's I mean it can work. The way it can work, I think, is that to create some, like, you have to spend a lot of time and probably money to create yourself a community, a stable community, and then later on you will be able to basically to monetize that, to create a subscription and all of that, and you can do that, sure.
But we can say that here, for example, here at Le Salon de la Musique, we spend a lot of time, and we spent a lot of time, but it was all organic, you know.
It's like,
Right.
for example, how much time did you spend to become a musician? Now, the musician of today, they must understand that building a community is part of your job
Work.
as a musician. It's like the same way that you play scales to warm up. To work on your social presence is the same. Is important.
equally important.
Exactly, it's equally important.
Yeah.
Well, I agree, but I know of some people who are very good musicians who don't care as much about it. I cannot explain you why. At least their point is that that it is not the.
We lost.
It's not the initial. No, I'm here.
Sergey,
It's not the
can you
initial-
repeat, please, what you said? Because
Yes,
for one
yes.
moment you disappeared.
So it's not the initial point why they were into that. Like, it's not the initial point why they started doing this.
Oh, again.
Disappears.
We have a blockout.
so-
Like,
No. Okay, so it's not the initial point why they started doing this. They didn't do it to be popular. They wanted to play music, and they find their own ways to just do it for their pleasure. And if these people have some kind of income which will allow them doing this, it's fair. Like it's fair. I think not everybody has to do that. Only people who want to, who are really into that, who really have to, like, who think and who
Enjoy
feel
this kind of activity.
Yeah. Because
Exactly.
others who don't, they shouldn't try. Like,
Of course,
if it's completely against you, you can do a little bit. Like, I can't say that I am so much into that. For instance, I am into that in general as an idea, but I find the algorithm system, I'm talking particularly about Instagram, for instance, is a little bit bad for classical music, I can say. I don't know what are the solutions. I can say that these days people are not paying attention for even like 1 minute video, and a lot of classical music works are more than that. Like, 1 minute video is okay, like even if you make 30 seconds or something. But also algorithm gives like into the search engines that they create much more like they try to popularize what are people searching mostly. They search for most popular classical works that are there already. For sophisticated people who are like musicians and stuff, they will not be enjoying to play every day Moonlight Sonata, Clair de Lune, the Turkish March, or something like that. But this is what algorithm.
Flight of Bumblebee.
Yeah, and there is no, like, the algorithm knows that this is popular. That's why if you search for classical music, like whatever, like a hashtag, whatever will be given is this. So they give they,
Disappeared
It's
again.
like
Okay.
they give people whatever they like, whatever the most popular thing is, and that's the point. But the problem with this is there is so much more, and for people to enjoy, like, I mean, for real musicians to enjoy doing this, you have to have a certain personality, which
yeah.
goes in
Yes.
I have
contrary.
yeah. Oh, sorry.
I would like to
No,
ask
no,
one question that is
Yeah.
super important. You say you must have a certain kind of personality. You must enjoy doing that. I hate practicing. I mean, I hate playing scales. I hate, but
Right.
I need to do it. I need to do it. I must do it because if you want to have a certain quality in your performing as a concert pianist, you must do some repetitive, boring, and sometimes painful activity. So, uh, as a musician, I also know that nowadays, if I don't do this thing, I will be wiped out. If I don't do it, other people will do it, and so I will be forgotten. I can play for my grandma. I mean, if I okay, it's my hobby. I don't want to make money with music. I want to. I do something else. For me, it's just having fun. Okay, but if you want to be a professional pianist or professional musician, so you want to make a living out of your music, you must do it. You must work online. You must work on your brand. You
Community.
must understand this thing and want to understand this thing and be how to say, happy to learn new skills, even if they are repetitive, boring, and takes 4 years. We are working on Salon de la Musique for 4 years yet. It's incredible. We never give up even one day. And now we have a community of half a million followers. And
Yeah.
you see,
That's
and
right.
we play, we give space to our friends, to musicians. They really have something to say, but because we never give up, and we did a very repetitive, boring activity. And I don't like to
Um,
stay online and work and do editing. I don't like it. I would like to stay and play my Bach preludes and fugue.
what I think is that while you're on the way to to the Mount Everest of the career, you probably will be forced to do all the things. And if you are not able to, there is a solution actually. You can pay other people to do that,
You
which
can
is
hire people. Yeah.
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 That's true. That's true.
I
I
think
agree.
that if you like, if you don't like it, and it's okay. It's even probably sometimes better to delegate some tasks to people who are actually more experienced and more interested in doing this. I was always myself interested in technology. I was following the new. I was always, like, since my childhood. So, and also like having some computer skills. I'm not saying that I have many, but I'm okay with all that. I was enjoying. So I was never against that. Some people are against that. So you can either ask your friends or pay some people, which actually is fine completely. So same goes towards creating like your portfolio in the internet, or basically the profession of SMM manager. It exists because of that, because some people don't want to deal with that. They would want to delegate to some other people who know a lot of that about it. In my opinion, though, the problem I see is that I saw some SMM managers who didn't know anything much more
I
than
feel
me,
Yeah.
it. I
much more
feel
than
it.
myself. They were trying to sell their services, and I was like, why?
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
would I do anything with you? So it's, you have to have you have to find people. It's all actually the laws of any profession doesn't change throughout the years. You have to find good people. You have to find good connections. No matter how you use them, you can use them differently. You can find people who will be good at editing your videos, and that's completely fine, because big YouTube channels, big bloggers, they do not edit every of their video by themselves. They would never have time. They have a team of people who work for them, and that's completely fine.
But to have a team of people, you must have a business plan. You must have a knowledge. At least you must have the will to go out of your comfort zone,
Sure,
and your practicing zone, and go out of your room and go and search for those people and understand that you need to do certain things. That's the most important thing.
It's true.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you one thing. So we were talking about, how we can monetize, with our profession, like the content that we create, how we can monetize. And you mentioned, but there are like some bloggers, they have like millions of followers, so they can, they have like a constant revenue from those programs and podcasts that they make, but they are still doing it on a certain platforms, and these platforms do not belong to them.
So third-party
platforms allow them to earn money on those platforms. But let's make like an assumption. One day, this platform decides to close your account for no reason, just because.
For many reasons.
Yeah, just because. So you are left with like your 10 millions of followers are disappeared in 1 second and a click of a mouse, and then what? So then you left with nothing. They're like 10 years, 15 years of work in internet, like building that community, just disappeared. So wouldn't it be more secure, in a way, productive and long lasting, if you create something outside of the platforms that belong to somebody else, that kind of business model that is sustainable, that can be resilient, that can be something that will produce a constant revenue, but then you will not depend on somebody. So you were mentioning in your interview the project that you created for the Geneva competition, and I wonder, like, if you could talk a little bit about that project, and if you have any ideas, or if you thought, like, how can you make this project as a product that you can sell, or as you can make it as a series of product that you can sell, like a line of products that you can sell, and if you have any business model behind the product.
Yeah, first of all, I think on the universal point of view, you were saying that some kind of social network closes your account and then you are left with nothing. I think, first of all, these can very easily happen to you in real life as well these days, unfortunately. And the only civilized way of dealing with this is going to court to deal like with the lawyers, I guess. Can be it like there are many instances of people getting screwed also in real thing. Secondly, on the second point, I think that you mentioned that you are dependent on these people and how to be less dependent or how to be independent. I think that every single person is not independent. On a universal point of view, everybody is dependent on somebody or something generally in life.
From a theoretical point of view.
Yeah. Like we not literally sometimes, but we are dependent on something. Every single each of us, and that's completely fine. That's how the world works. You like there are many people who try to state, I want to be independent, and then you ask from what, and then they can't answer because they don't know themselves. On the point of my project, The project that the competition tried us to have initially was that the idea was that you create a project, and I had a very nice interviews with people, like two people. They helped us to form the interview, and that was the project. That was the initial project was just a part of the competition, to be honest, because the real thing is still, I can say that this is work in progress between me and a manager who helps me currently doing this, because the initial project is just an artistic project. Because when I came to them and I asked, guys, so how do we do that? Do I have to schedule, like, to make an Excel file with counting the budget and the costs of everything, like basically at least create a draft of it, or what? On another point was that the competition gives the people who are who are chosen to be helped with this project, and it ended up that every single one of us, the finalists, are in fact being helped, that we will receive some sort of money, which is roughly like 10,000 or something. That are we supposed to obey that amount of money? Like, are we supposed to create a project which can theoretically be done under this amount of money?
One second.
They said,
they said that you can set up a project with $10,000
budget,
something like that, because that is how it is written from them. And the point is that, for instance, I don't think you can do much with that amount of money. You can do a little bit. Yeah, so I don't know how it will turn. Maybe it will be in the future. They told us, you are now free to do whatever you want with the project, and if you need help, ask us. Maybe it will be more. The project I wanted to have, and I mean, it doesn't matter. The project, I would do it anyway, like with them or without them, like with winning this prize or without. Initial idea was my first idea ever was about the Schumann carnivals, both of them. I thought, why not creating a project, and would be just a recital program which would have some kind of idea. I do like having this kind of a commitment towards the programming, not just playing, but it would be interesting for people to listen. Then I thought, okay, there is one part, like music enough for one part of the recital, which is like 40 minutes. What about the other part? Then I found there are not many carnivals. And then I also got reminded that there is a Carnival of Animals by Saint-Saëns. And I looked up for a good transcription for the piano, for just solo piano. I couldn't find a good one. There are few ones that I didn't think that they are good. Like, they would not be interesting to listen to anybody, I think. And therefore I said, okay, I will have to do my own one, even though, again, this is literally me, as we were talking before, going completely out of my comfort zone, because I've never done anything like that. I tried sometime in my life, I tried to compose, and I thought I sucked at it. I thought it's too bad. I thought, no way. But at least I know I have a lot of experience with transcriptions and paraphrases, I mean playing, and therefore using some other materials, it's like I can deal with that easier, like I can transcribe them. This is easier than to create a new completely different work, which I would call under my name for no reason. Like, why would I do that? I'm not a composer, I'm a performer. It used to be that people used to do both, but we're in the times when probably it's not the case anymore. Anyway, the business model out of it um, the business model for, I have to ask, what do you mean by that? I can have a business model which is working for me out of it, or working generally for selling, I don't know, holes out of that. It's a different approach. Business model for me out of it would be that I could just make a good exposure of the project, but by just recording a CD with this project and going on a small tour where I would also sell some of these CDs, because the physical CDs nowadays are only sold face to face. They are
During
only
the
sold.
concert, yes.
They're only sold as a souvenir after your concert. Of course, I would also put it like in some kind of Amazon, Apple, whatever music. But the truth is that nobody is really buying physical CDs anymore. But people do still buy. This is like for them a memory, which they probably will not listen to it, or they will. I don't care. I just sell them like. Completely from the business point of view, you have to sell them the CDs, you have to sell them the tickets. So for the tickets part, there is a good program. There is a part of where I will explain them what is this program about. There is a part of why I am doing this. Why do I want to talk about it? Because I want them to be like interested initially in this. I want them to be interested not just by looking at the program, but when they have come to the concert already, to be interested in me as a person, and in my view, why am I playing this? What is the reasoning behind, and why is this program put together, and stuff like that. So, and also this program works like it's a universal way of trying to attract people who are newcomers to the concert hall, and people who are also, like, let's say, professionals, because the pieces that I chose, they are good for both. Like Schumann's Carnival, it's sort of a popular piece, and like, for instance, it doesn't only consist of Schumann Carnivals. The second part is more for the newcomers, I would say, because it consists of, for instance, Hungarian Rhapsody by Liszt, called Pest Carnival, which is a much more like brilliant and light music, as well as there is a transcription by Moritz Rosenthal of Strauss waltzes. Like, he composed a piece which consists like a compilation of 3 of Strauss waltzes. And like, name me a person who have never ever heard of Strauss, or never ever heard of these tones, or name me a person who has never ever heard of, like, or heard the melody of Saint-Saëns, the Swan, probably the most popular one.
Or the aquarium.
Oh yeah, that one, because it is even used in like advertisement and whatever. The people are like kids in the public. You have to make them happy by sometimes playing something that they can recognize. You know.
Yeah.
This is the artistic idea. Okay.
Yeah. So you know, there is this great movie, the 1+1 or Intouchables, where the guy who is the owner of the house, the disabled, the Philip, I think his the name was trying to interact with his friend who was taking care of him, and trying to put him like the most popular, like, Bach suite for the cello solo. And this guy, he said, I heard that was the advertisement for like Hyundai, or that this kind of thing, you know. But this is still like, this is better than people hating you for playing some kind of super sophisticated piece, which they will not understand, which they will be bored of. And, you know, so I try to balance the program. So, okay, the question about monetizing, how can I monetize? I will have to use the money which I will be given. So that was the initial idea of that project, to create all of that. And okay, I will just try to organize several concerts for myself and to sell the CDs. That was the idea. But for it to become more like important, or to make I don't know, a music festival, I never tried to create or make it too much like a big thing. You cannot do anything big without the initial investment in it. It's either money or your time, and it will be investment of my time. It's just like I will not have the like ambition to create like a music festival, because that was the ongoing subject on what is the first idea. If you're asked what is the first idea of a musician, most of them to create, if they are asked of like some random, like what would you create, the first thing they say, I want to create my own music festival. And the question is why?
Or my own
I'm asking
competition.
why there are so many, or a competition. Yeah, surely, as if there are not enough. I'm sorry. I would my project would be to destroy a lot of the competitions. I think there are too many.
Oh,
Not,
you have a
But
friend
listen,
to help you.
or if you want, I already have my sword that will try this in my mouth and go and fight together. If you want, we can go. Anyway, but you know what I believe? I think that people sooner or later, I mean, I'm talking about the musician, they will understand that this is not a good idea anymore. So it's like a person that is dying out of cancer, and so little by little is going to die. Also,
You know what I'm always saying? I can, Anna and Francesco knows it. Know it. I can sound a little bit. Repetitive, but I think that in competition, the only winner is who
the
runs the business. Do you know?
mm,
I mean, is who runs the business. The problem is that most of the time, artists and musicians in general, when they present project, they are presenting actually an artistic idea. They are not
yeah,
actually presenting a business model. A business model means that you are creating an analysis on the costs that you have
yeah,
to bear, and an
sure.
analysis on the profit forecasts, and an analysis on the revenue streams, and a target analysis. And then after all, you can understand the projection of your net revenue.
Sure.
This is a business model. It's not an artistic idea. It's something that can be sustainable. It can be attractors and a catalyzer for investors. This is a business idea.
investors will ask you how you supposed to make money with your project. Why do
And
I have to
in
give
how
you
many
money?
years?
Do you think I have to give you money because you play well? Of course not. Because how can
Investors,
you?
yeah,
Yeah.
investors are
I
interested.
think they should.
No, but I think they should, but that's not how the world works.
You know, they
Unfortunately,
will give you money and hoping to make 20 times more. So in order to make it 20 times more for them, they have to see how this project will work in like years to come.
It's
Like
true.
normally it's 5 years.
It's
Yeah.
true, but yes, you're talking about the investors, but
Yeah.
it's when I said that you have to treat yourself as a small company, I mainly meant that it is about like your approach towards yourself, meaning that you have to manage yourself in
Mhm.
terms of like you being yourself. Like this is project you, right? So this is what you can you can think of. If you
You
have
are
a
the
real
product.
big thing, like as a launching a music concert series, or I don't know, again, a festival or whatever it is, then it's true. Like then you have to understand how you create all of that. But besides that, what kind of product can musician bring? It's not, we are not creating uh, any kind of like goods that or groceries that are considered to be a thing that you can buy on Amazon. We are
That's a
creating
problem.
something actually much more important in a way, and it's at the same time it's much more important, and you cannot you cannot feed with just music. You have to eat, right? As a person, I'm talking about like it's a different perspective. Still, you cannot force the laws of normal business company which produces, let's say, iPhones. You cannot force the uh, business laws that work for brand Apple to work for you in a similar way. It's not the same. What we create, I think that like musicians, and each one of them are like every single one is for different reasons, of course, but generally what we create is the content which helps people to be more humans. That's what I think. And generally what I think about the classical music, like let's say in my ideal world, I would cancel all kinds of TV shows, or maybe some news, but a little bit of them, without any kind of brainwashing and without any kind of stupid soap operas. I would only have like I'm talking about utopia, okay? I'm not talking that I would literally do that. I'm talking about that if we would only have exposure towards classical music, and I mean classical plus some good jazz, maybe some old school pop songs when they were good, not when they are now. I'm sorry for that, but the music which made people, like more human beings, not as now. That is very important. Like this is a sort of mission that musicians and artists have to bring to the society. I believe that if people would only be exposed to that kind of content, there would be much less crime, there would be much less violence, there would be much less of anything bad that we have
We
currently
will
in the world.
have a higher IQ level, average level, you know.
Yes.
But
Yes.
this was a question that I wanted to tell. No, it's not a question. You remember we were talking about why should the government support all classical music teachers, etc. Because with classical music you make better citizens. That's the thing. But the question is it convenient to have citizens that they have a certain kind of way of thinking?
Question is that anybody has to ask: is it convenient to have smarter people, or is it more convenient to have people who are more dumb? I think for most of the governments, it's more convenient to have people who are more dumb. At
So
least
that's
that's what
the
I
reason why
think.
in classical music, I mean, it's not
Yeah,
the priority of the.
yeah. The point is that even like there was a scientific explorations that even cows create a better quality or more milk while they're listening to classical music. It all has
Exactly.
to
I
do
read it.
with that it's very physical actually. All this it's not a mystery. Some people think of like atmosphere in a concert hall as a mystery or something. It's not. The thing is that we make some kind of vibrations, and the human bodies are created that way that they reflect and they react to it. And when these vibrations are going in a sort of inner harmony of this person, it changes the amount of things like inside the blood, inside the body, which creates the good environment
Neurochemistry.
for the human being to be like to live. That's it. Or not just human beings, but alive beings like animals as well. You know,
Exactly.
that's it. And like atmosphere, or what we are talking about in the concert halls, is also in a way it's simple and it's not simple, because I understand how it works. For people who don't understand how it works, it's super complex. People ask, why do we when we are enjoying something, it's either a movie or it's a good concert, why does it feel like the time has passed, like I've spent 2 hours and I didn't notice it? That's because the people were involved. With the musicians, it's all also the same way. Good quality musicians, like they can make huge work such as like Goldberg Variations or Hammerklavier by Beethoven, which lasts for like almost an hour, seemed like it was played in 5 minutes because it was good. Why? And that is also, and for people to basically to cheat the time. We are magicians, like the artists performing us. We are magicians in a way. I mean, it's of course a sarcasm, that we are cheating the feeling of the time, that the time
Exactly.
feels that is either
we can
it's
manipulate
prolonged.
the time perception.
Yeah. It's too long because when it's boring, or it's too short because it was so exciting, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point of this profession. Actually, is the time. It's not even about musicianship or technique. It's about how you work with the time, because that involves everything, because that involves everything else.
I agree. This is very meaningful. Yeah.
That is very, very important. Say what you said, Sergey. So it was very intense conversation. Thank you very much for coming. We are running out of time, so we have to.
Okay. Good.
We have to close it, but before we close, there are a couple of announcements. So tomorrow we will have our Meet the Artist live show with Priscilla Navarro, with Peruvian pianist who lives in Miami, and so
she's part of our SM roster.
Yeah, she's a part of our roster. Okay, and then but before we close, there is a word from our sponsor.
Thank you.